we've arrived at camp now. Been here about 10 minutes, got our stuff out, and I'm going to make a cup of tea on the burner for us first. So it's myself, Nick, the Muffin Man, you'll know what I mean if you watch our stuff, and Scott the Welsh Woodsman. I'm going to cheat fire lighters. I got 3 boxes of them in the house, so I better use them. You lay into your fans. Cool, pot on. My intention this camp out was to redo my shelter. I was going to do it from a lean-to going like that, so I had more room inside. But the only thing is, there's nothing wrong with it and it's still solid, so I'm not going to bother. Let me show it to you. So this has been up about 2 years now, and before I used to have a log bed, long log bed, like Scott's got here. But after being on a wood smoke course a couple of years ago, they were making their beds this way, with the sticks going the other way across. And at the time I thought, it's a lot of work. But to be fair, it's lasted longer than doing it lengthways. I don't know why, but I did strip all the bark off the wood. And I got a big 10-litre water bag by there. Save the agony of walking 50 yards to the river. So there's the back of my shelter. But yeah, I'm not going to touch it. It's still in good condition. No point giving myself any work if I don't need to. I'm only here one night anyway. And this will probably be our last camp out here till next winter because of the bugs. So we pop around here now and see Nick. Nick's got his new Polish Lavvu. Let's get her. And Nick's intention with the Lavvu is going to make a tripod, tie it at the top, obviously, and suspend the Lavvu from it. Say hi, Nick.
Hello.
And Nick's using his Trailmaster, which is a cracking knife, like I used on our last camp out. But I'm posh, I got the San Mai.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got 3 of them.
You own all of them in the world.
So we'll get back to Nick later with his with a progress report. Scott now has stripped his shelter completely, and he said it was just the right time because most of the beams were rotten anyway. So he's gone off now to look for some wood, and he's going to redo his roof. Now I've come pretty kit heavy for this trip because, well, basically I just want to play with my toys. So on the top there I got a distrude saw, and I got an extra blade in the case and my big long strop, which you've seen before. I got a Gransforth Brooks Scandinavian forest axe, and if you notice it's got a leather collar on it, and that's the leather collar which I took off my small forest axe a fortnight or so ago because it was getting right on my tits when I was using it and choking up to the top. But with the big axe, that's mainly for chopping and splitting. I'm not going to do any fine work with it. I've got a silky pocket boy there, which lives on my belt in a leather sheath I made. I got my butler's bush tool, which is probably my favourite user, bit of a bruiser, and that's a cracking knife. And I've got my FTP, which will be around my neck during the evening when I take the stuff off my belt because I don't want them catching in things. There's the FTP. Ooh, fast pan. And I got a bag of tools there which I'm going to go over now, and I've also got a carving axe. I just remembered I got my carving axe in my bag as well because I may make a spoon this evening. Yes, I may actually make a spoon. So I'm going to open my carving kit up now, go through it, show you what I got. First of all, that's a Robin Wood carving axe. I made the mask for it, so I wasn't going to pay for one, considering I'm a reasonably good leather worker. Not the best, but I'm not too bad. So I've got a Ben off a draw knife. All the sheaths you see I make. So that one's a bit loose though. I got my super sexy pencil. I got a Ben Orford carving knife, which I picked up pretty cheap in the wilderness gathering last year in the Bring and Buy. Remember folks, come to the wilderness gathering. I got Puko number 2, which I forgot was in there, which I'm sure that's going to be a really nice carver. I got a Robin Wood large shallow spoon knife, which is actually really nice to use. Ooh, and I got my posh bit of kit here. my scope, and I can't remember for the life of me the guy whose name it is. I'll ask Scott after because he'll know. And that's got a Nick Westerman blade on it, and the guy had it off, he handles and sheathes them, and he does a lovely job, nice and safe. I have shallow off-wood spoon knife. I'm showing you all this stuff now. I'm hoping I get a nice little project to use it on. That's the first bent off-wood spoon knife I have. Sharpie pen, cloth, glue. Glue's in there because when I go to Sweden I like to make birchbark pots, and well, if you've ever made natural glues, they're a bit of a pain in the ass, and if you want something nice to keep, well, better off using decent glue. I've also got a section of glue stick, so if you want to make repairs on things, heat it up, put the glue on. Good bit of kit that, simple and effective. Got a tiny bit of a razor block for cleaning. Piece of Starkey blue paste for the strop. And a new addition is that, which I'm going to try later and make a handle. Ideally, it would be good to have welded or on there, put a stick through, but I haven't had it done yet, so I'm going to see if I can get that to work. In there I've got some cloth impregnated with marine knife care stuff, anti-rust proofing, bit of rubber for whatever, some micro mesh for sharpening, a round strop which I can for the round blades, and I can place my micro mesh over there and sharpen on it. And that is a fire piston. Nick's got his tripod up.
That's adjust. Times I guess we miss Russ, the tall friend.
A tall friend at 5'11".
Who helps us tie knots up really high. Oh my god, a fucking tarantula. Don't like creepy crawlies. You get in your shit.
You'd be hard pushed to find a tarantula in woods in mid-Wales, mate.
Oh, it's huge. It was that big.
Oh, that big was he? Oh, God. Good job you brought your big knife and to sort him out.
Yeah, I can't hide away in my mosquito net in my hammock.
So Nick was just saying to me now how much calling a bowline a bowling annoys him.
Yep.
And bloody Bear Grylls always calls it a bowling. What bell end decided to call a bowline a bowling?
I can't speak English too good like, but it's a bowline.
Our first language is Welsh, so if you see any grammatical errors, that's because we are naturally Welsh speakers.
Siarad Cymraeg.
Right, we'll get back to Nick in a bit now.
Dad, I think I've done it wrong again.
What's wrong, Nick?
I don't know. It's There's something, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something not quite right.
Well, for a start, your cord's on the wonk.
Plan B.
Plan B. We'll get back to you. No shape in, Nick.
Yeah, and it's the right way, not inside out.
Nick is convinced that last month when we came camping, Scott put his inside out. He is 100% convinced of it. But Scott, being Scott, he will not have it.
I put mine up in the garden exactly the same way, and my wife told me it was inside out, so she is right, obviously.
Oh, she's a woman, they're always right. We are but men. Useless men. Oh, it's looking pretty good now. I think he needs to adjust the pegs a bit more.
Yeah.
No, it's looking pretty good now. Now, Nick did mention to me that when he does his adjustments, he's going to put a strap through the top to hang it. And now he's just gone gypsy method and put a knot in it, but that is not going to be not going to be the way it's going to turn out. He's going to have a strap because he's losing 2 inches of headroom. Here he comes, the man with the sticks, the man with the plan.
We're lucky there's a petrol station on top of the hill that sells pig logs.
He's only filming me because he's hoping I'm going to fall with some car, you know.
That's 200 quid there.
Rah! Now you know, if we ever come across one of our camps, why it's one of our camps. Because we just got feather sticks lying around everywhere. Unbelievably, these are pretty dry, considering they were made 9 weeks ago. But we like to make feather sticks. In fact, we love making feather sticks. So there are, Nick's Lavvu's up and the door is open, and he said I'm not going in there because I'll probably fall asleep at 11:30 in the morning. So I've been down by the river now and I've got some hazel. So I've got a dead piece. I've taken the bark off the end just to make sure the consistency's right. And I've coppiced a piece of live as well for the bow. But guess what we're going to do next? We're going to have a cup of tea. Plenty of time. This is for fun, nothing serious.
Did I send you that picture, Nick? Are you still filming off?
Yeah. Check out Nick's butt. Yeah. Scott's tying knots. Right. Couple of minutes now, I'll be boiling. We'll have a nice cup of tea.